Hi everyone, my name is Oladimidi Michael. I'm an accounting graduate, a data analyst, and a financial insight specialist. So on today's episode, we'll be discussing and about SQL join. What is join? What are the join options that we have? What is the possible result if you are using any of those join options? That is what we are going to be talking about on today's episode. So let's dive in and talk about everything that we are having on this board. So what is join? Join is a clause that we use to combine two or more rows from two or more tables together using a column that they have in common. Let me come again. Join is a clause that we use to combine rows from multiple tables using a column that they have in common. So for me to be able to join two tables together, you must have at least one column in common. For example, this is my first table, this is my second table. For me to be able to join these two tables together, they must have at least one column in common. And for the sake of this class, you can see that this first table and this second table, they have one column called student ID. It appears here, it appears here. So if I want to join these tables together using any of these options that we have here, we are going to be joining them on student ID. So that is what join itself is all about. So now, what are the examples of join that we have? We have left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, inner join. We also have two other options that they are not really common: left anti-join and right anti-join. So what those ones are talking about is opposite of these two that we have here, but they are not really common in data analytics like these four. So we'll be talking about these four in this episode. So let's start with the first one. So if I'm joining on left outer join, what is going to be my result? So before then, let's understand what is our left table, what is our right table. If your table is on a vertical arrangement, the one that comes first is your left table. That's why I call this my first table, my left table, because it comes first. It is on a vertical arrangement, and this comes first. That is why I call it left table. So the one that come second, or it come after the first one, is called right table. So if it's on a horizontal arrangement, we all know the one that come first on your left hand side is your left table, while the one that come at your right hand side is your right table. So now, if you are joining on left outer join, left outer join, what is meant to be our result? So if you are joining on left outer join, what is going to happen is that your left table is going to be the one that is going to decide what is going to be in the result table. I mean, the left table is going to overwrite, or is going to be the one that is going to dominate in the result table. What I mean by that is that if you are joining on left outer join, you are meant to keep all the results from the left table. Every data that you have in your left table is going to appear in your result table. But what is going to appear in your right table is only the data that matches the data from the left table. That's why I said the left table is going to be the one that is going to determine what is going to be in your result table. So now let's do the workings and see what is going to be in our result table. So now, if you are joining on left outer join, we are going to have student ID and name. I said it earlier that everything in the left table must appears in your result table. So 001, 002, 003. I'm going to be having Michael, that's my name by the way, thinking, and analyst. That's the name of our channel. And I said it earlier that now everything from the left table is in our result table, but what is coming from the right table is the only data that matches the one from our left table. For example, we have 001 here. I said it earlier that we are going to be joining them on a column that they have in common, which is our student ID. So we have 001 here. We also have it here. So we are going to be having the scores. We are going to be having the score 70. We have 002 in our result table, which is coming from the left table. We also have 002 here, and our score is what? 32. So we have 003, but we don't have 003 here, right? Since we don't have 003 here, that means this one is going to be empty. Do you understand now? What left outer join is trying to prove is that left table is going to be the one that is going to determine what is going to be in our result table. So if you open your SSMS, your workbench and your SQL workbench, and you join this table together on left outer join, this is going to be your result. Your left table is going to be the one that is going to determine what is going to appear in the results table, and pick only the data that matches the one that is coming from the left table from your right table. So that's why we have 001. Since it appears here, we have it here. 002, appears in the right table, but it does not match any data from the left table. That's why we are not going to be having it. That is what left outer join is all about. So now let's move to right outer join and see what right outer join is talking about. So if you are joining on right outer join, what is going to be our results? That is what we want to explain now. So if you are joining on right outer join, like the opposite of what happened earlier when we are joining on left outer join, the right table is going to be the one that is going to determine what is going to be in our result table. It's the one that is going to dictate what is going to be in our result table. I mean the right table. So now, what are the data that we have in our right table? Well, 001, 002, 004. Our score to be 70, 32, and 85. So now we will not pick only the data that matches the data that is coming from the right table from the left table. Since we are joining on right outer join, your right table will be the one that is going to dominate. So it's going to be the one that is going to dictate what we are going to pick from the left table. So what are the data that matches? These are our data from the left table. We have 001, which is Michael. 002, which is thinking. We don't have 004, so our 004 is going to be dash. You see the difference now. When you are joining on left outer join, left table will be the one to dominate. But when you are joining on right outer join, right table will be the one to dominate. I hope it is well understood that. So let's move to full outer join. If you are joining on full outer join, what is meant to happen? Full outer join is telling you that you are going to keep the value that is coming from both tables, from both the left and the right. The way it is in the left table, you are going to have it. The way it is in the right table, you are going to have it. So what are they expecting from us? If you are joining on full outer join, what is going to be our result table? That is what we want to have. So full outer join. So what is coming from left table? 001, 002, 003, which is Michael, thinking, and analyst. So I said it earlier that when we are joining on full outer join, all the data that is coming from both tables is going to appear. So what is coming from our right table? 001, we already have it. The score 70. 002, you have it here. The score 32. We don't have 003, so the score is going to be empty. So 004, the name is going to be empty. There is no name for it in the left table, but we have score for it. So I said it that when you are joining on full outer join, you are keeping the record that is coming from both tables. You are combining all the record without removing anything. That's why we have 001, 002, 003, 004. You have 001, 002 in common. 003 is coming from the left table. 004 is coming from the right table. And we have name for 001, 002, 003 coming from the left table, but there is no name for 004. That's why it is empty. So the score, you have score for 001, 002, but there is no score for 003. That's why it is empty. And 004, you have 85. So that's that about full outer join. So let me just repeat one more time before we move to the last one. Left outer join means that the left table is going to dominate. Will be the one that is going to dictate what is going to be in the result table. If you are joining on right outer join, the right table is going to be the one that is going to dictate what we are going to have in our result table. But if you are doing on full outer join, you are bringing what is coming from both tables without removing anything. That is what left a full outer join is all about. So now let's move to the last one, which is inner join. What is inner join? Inner join means that you are going to return only the data, only the rows that the two tables have in common. If it appears here, if it appears here, then we are going to have it in our result table. If it appears here but does not appear here, we are not going to have it. We are not going to have it in our result table. If it does not appear here and it appears here, that means we are not going to have it in our table. When you are joining on inner join, you are telling us that you only want to keep the result that is coming, and you only want to keep the tables, the data, the rows that the two tables have in common. So what is our expected result if we are making use of inner join? So inner join means that we only want to return the result that is coming from both tables, that the both tables have in common, which is they have 001, 001, 002, 002. What is the name, Michael? What is the name for 002? Thinking. What is the score? 70. What is the score for 002? 32. So this is going to be our result for inner join. So if you are combining the table using inner join, that means you only want the result of rows that appears in both tables. That's what inner join is all about. Left outer join means the left table is going to dominate. Right outer join means the right table is going to dominate. Full outer join means you are going to return both tables without removing any data from it. Inner join means you are going to return only the data that they have in common. I hope I've been able to explain everything about join. I know you might have watched couples of videos of other creators talking about it, but I'm just trying to simplify it in the most simplest form that you might ever think about. Do you understand? So that's what I just explained. Everything about join that I need to know in SQL. That is what it's all about. So thank you for watching. Before I go, I'm currently building a platform where you can practice data skills in a gamification way. So check it out. I'm going to drop the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next episode.